Hi everyone, this is Jodi Atkinson, and today for my project I'll be discussing the Lamini Archaeological Reserve in Belize, Mayan ruins in Belize. This first picture is a watercolor by Stan Lowton. It kind of portrays what this civilization may have looked like in the peak of its time. One of the reasons I wanted to do this was because I've actually been there. My husband and I visited there in June of 2024. We took a trip to Belize, went on the excursion, rode the river, and were able to talk with a local guide who had a sacred appreciation for these temple sites. After researching, I just appreciate it that much more. Here are some of my favorite facts about Lamini. I won't read all of them as I'm limited on time, but you can pause and read through them if you'd like. Lamini means submerged crocodile. Is also considered Belize's most enduring city because it was occupied for over 3,000 years, which is well beyond most of other Mayan sites and civilizations. There was also many howler monkeys up in the trees, and when we got there, the guide said, "Welcome to Jurassic Park." That was funny and unnerving. Here's a rundown of the different time periods in Lamini and its history. We won't read through this list as we'll cover it in the next few slides. But here is another watercolor by Stan Lowton. He was an architect who worked on the Lamini project in the 70s, and this is a temple from the pre-classic period from about 100 BC. As you can see from these time periods, they did have quite a large time range, all the way up to the modern day. The early pre-classic period, there was habitation because they found corn in the sediment of the lagoon. This showed that they had agriculture. In the middle of pre-classic period, they found dwellings and communal structures that showed a developed society. This society had also spread and was interacting with other Mesoamerica people, including the Olmec society, which we have already learned about in this class, which I thought was really cool. And they found this out by different artistic elements that were similar. The picture on the right is of a Mayan temple. Late pre-classical period is when the High Temple and the Mask Temple were built. I have pictures of those later. A lot of cool pottery, urban and societal complexity increased, and they developed more. In the classical period, they had continued growth. There were signs of human sacrifice, which we know happened in some of these civilizations. They also used the crocodile as a spirit in their worship. On the right is a shell and a jade from about 100 BC, and this was found by Pendergast in the 70s. Post-classical period was a time when most Mayan civilizations collapsed or declined, but the Lamini held strong. They were unique in this. They were resilient, and also their trade of copper helped them to be economically stable and have new opportunities. In the 1540 AD, the Spanish colonial era where the Europeans came, the colonizers attempted to convert and exploit their economics, and they found resistance from indigenous people. Also some pottery from the 1500s. Modern day discovery happened in the 20th century. In 1917, Thomas Gann, who was an amateur archaeologist, was there and wrote a report on Lamini, but it remained untouched until the mid-70s when Dr. Pendergast found it, and it continues to be researched today. If you go to Lamini today, you do have to ride a 27-mile boat ride up the New River, which I did do. The structures there are different temples, a Mayan ball court, and some common residential drawings. And the Temple of Stele is on the right. Here are some pictures from my trip there. These are pictures I actually took. There's the Temple of the Masks, the High Temple, and the Temple of the Jaguar. One of my other favorite things about it was visiting this was our local tour guide. He found this place to be very sacred, and his people still considered it sacred. He shared that his children were named after these temples. Him and his wife had buried their children's placentas in front of each temple, and he still takes his children there today to remind them of who they are, which I think is really inspiring. And that just shows that Lamini was strong then and now. Here is my works cited. I hope you enjoyed this presentation on the Lamini Archaeological Reserve. I thought it was a really cool place and hope you all have a wonderful fall break. Thank you. Bye.